día de hoy vamos a Pensilvania. Ahí vamos a ver qué es lo que tiene él para cada uno de los habitantes de este lugar. Así que vamos a escuchar al señor, al próximo presidente de los Estados Unidos, esperando en Dios. Así que comencemos.
Well, a very, very big hello, Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania. And it's great to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. You are indeed. You are hardworking, proud. You love the country. We're going to send our prayers to the people of Florida getting hit just about now. In a little while, you're going to see a hurricane like we haven't seen in a long time, as well as all of the people still recovering from Hurricane Helene. So we have North Carolina that's been hit very hard, and this administration has not done a proper job at all. Terrible, terrible. Nobody's seen anything like it. But we just pray for everybody. We want them all to be good, and we're going to be there hopefully soon, and we're going to help them rebuild and get it all back together. And we hope that God will keep them safe. God will keep them safe. Just 27 days from now, we're going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris. And we are going to make America great again. And when we beat, well, you know this, when we win, it will be, I believe, the greatest. We had an incredible evening on Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania. We love Butler. Butler's become a very famous place. Celebrating the brave firefighter and fire chief, we love Corey, right? Who sacrificed his life in the attack 12 weeks ago. Just take a look at all of the incredible patriots. You have to see this to believe it. Over 100,000 people. Take a look at this. Thank you. Who is that man up there? I don't recognize him. Who is that? From the very beginning of this journey, I've been on a mission to rescue our nation from a failed and corrupt political establishment and to give you back the country you believe in, the country you were born in, and the country you... I will never quit, I will never bend, I will never break, and I will never, not ever, under any circumstances, even in the face of death, we will never give up. Never going to give up. We're going to turn it around. We're going to have the 4 greatest years we've ever had. I'm putting everything on the line to fight for you. I didn't have to be here. I could be in a beautiful beach. I could be in a gorgeous beach somewhere in the world. There's sun beaming down on this beautiful body in a bathing suit. The sun would be beaming down, the waves would be crashing into my face. Instead, I'm here with you in Pennsylvania, and I'd rather be doing that. And all I want is one thing. Because we're going to do this, you have to go out and vote. That's all I want. You don't even have to give us any money. That's a pretty good deal, right? Just vote. Vote for all of us. You're not voting for me, you're voting for all of us. We're going to save our country. It's being run by incompetent people that have no idea what the hell they're doing. Early voting is underway now, so when the polls open tomorrow, don't wait. Go immediately. Go as soon as you can. If you want, you go. Some people want to wait. They want to wait till that beautiful Tuesday, that day that's going to be the most important day in the history of our country, I believe. You know, I really believe that. I think we're going to win Pennsylvania. We're leading in all the... We're down one, get out of it. No, we're doing well in Pennsylvania. We're doing well in Michigan. We're doing well in Arizona, Nevada. We're doing well everywhere. We're doing well in places that a Republican hasn't won in years. We're doing well everywhere because people are looking at the people that are destroying our country and they say, we're not going to take it anymore. If we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. It's over. Right? The whole thing. But really, nobody makes the case against lying Kamala Harris better than Kamala herself. Take a look.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
So think of that. So I heard that question when it was given, because I had to watch, because, you know, she doesn't do any interviews. She doesn't do any press conferences. She doesn't do them for one reason. She's not smart. She's not smart. Not smart. No, she doesn't do them. They're trying to shield. Last time they kept a man in the basement, and they had an excuse. They had a thing called COVID around. And we did great last year, I want to tell you. We did great in 2020. We did great in 2016, but we got million border invasion, 21 million people. 21 million people plus came into our nation, and among them are murderers, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, human traffickers, mostly in women. How about that? She wouldn't do that differently? She went from the best border in the world to the worst border in the world. She went from, we had a border that was the best in U.S. history, and now we have the worst border anywhere in the world at any time. There's never been a border like this. What she's done and what he's done, what they have done to this country, the worst inflation in the history, costing a typical family almost $30,000. The inflation, she wouldn't do that over again either. Maybe the worst of all, and something that a lot of people don't hear about, because look at all the fake news. That's a lot of fake news. I think this is the worst of all in a sense, and you'd almost say, how could it be worse? She lost 325,000 migrant children. Their parents are looking for them. Think of you with their parents. Think of you with their parents. 325, due to incompetence, due to the fact that she had the worst border, due to the fact that she let our great people not run the border. She got rid of all the things that we were doing. We had the safest border. We went from the safest to the worst. Those children are now dead, in slavery, or just plain missing. Probably most of them will never be found again. Think of that. 325,000 because of their incompetence. They're missing. Probably many of them are dead. Number 4, migrant flights, flying illegal migrants into our cities. Remember when she said, no, we want to, about a month ago, she realized this was not playing well for her in the polls. So they came up with a phony little idea that they'll do something. The only thing they didn't do, though, they didn't stop the flights that were pouring in with thousands and thousands, and actually over the course of a couple of years, hundreds of thousands of people flying over our borders. They didn't stop that. So they came from places all over the world into your cities and small towns, changing them forever, and I have to say, ruining them, ruining your cities and towns, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, people from mental institutions and insane asylums, human traffickers and women. How about number 5, the Afghanistan catastrophe, the most embarrassing event in the history of our country. She wouldn't do that again. You have to understand. She said, no, I'd leave it the way it is. We're just going over just a small list. That was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Probably Putin went into Ukraine because of it. He looked and he saw the gross incompetence of this president that can't speak. The October 7th attack on Israel would never have happened, but she said that was fine too because she didn't want to change. She actually said she didn't want to change anything. She'd leave it the way it is. So I said, let's make a list of just some of the bad things. This is just a small list. October 7th, where you take a look at what happened. She doesn't want to change that. The slaughter of a lot of people. The Ukraine disaster, millions of dead people because of the weakness of this administration. Putin never would have gone into Ukraine if I were president. It would never, ever have happened. How about the natural gas export ban that is crushing Pennsylvania right now? Most of you don't even know about that. You know, you hear fracking and all, but if she ever won this thing, you wouldn't be fracking for 24 hours. But how about that? And it's crushing Pennsylvania, hurting you. It's going on. It's on right now. How about this? Pushing transgender ideology on minor children. How about that one? Your child goes to school and they take your child. It was a he and comes back a she. And they do this. And they do it. And often without parental consent. Can you even believe we're saying this? How about men playing in women's sports? How about that? She wouldn't say. How about the insane electric vehicle mandate where everybody's got to have an electric car almost immediately? They don't go far. They cost a lot more. And they're going to be made in China. And by the way, I think they're fantastic for a certain group of people that want them. And I'm not saying that because I'm a big fan of Elon, who endorsed us. You know that. He endorsed us. Elon's great. And he makes a great product. And it is. And there's a market for it. It's great. There are people that want it. And I think it's fantastic, actually. But you know what? Some people want gasoline. We have more gasoline. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country anywhere in the world. But I'll tell you, Elon was at Butler. You saw, he was having the time of his life. And I didn't even know we had it. He saw a black hat, you saw that. And it has in a very subtle way with black letters, "Make America Great Again." And I didn't even know we sold them. And he wore one. And you know, his imagination is rather good, like better maybe than anybody in the world. He sends up rockets. He has what he did with Starlink was so incredible for North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama. They said, "Sir, do you know Elon Musk?" I said, "Yeah, I happen to. He just endorsed us like the best endorsement you've ever heard." He said, "We're going to save America. If we don't, this country is ruined." But think of it, they said, "Do you know," because he has something called Starlink, and it's very hard to get. It's so popular. I said, "What do you need it for?" He said, "In North Carolina, we have absolutely no communications." Also, the governor of Georgia is doing an excellent job. They didn't have any communications in certain sections of Georgia. And I said, "Well, what do you want?" He said, "Could you get us like Starlink?" So I called up Elon. I said, "Elon, what the hell is Starlink?" He said, "Because North Carolina needs it for communication really badly, and it's very hard to get." And we talked for about a minute, and all of a sudden I'm getting messages, "Thank you," from North Carolina, from Georgia. "Thank you very much." I'm still on the phone with him. I said, "How the hell did you do that?" He started sending it out, and we hadn't finished our conversation. So we're dealing on a different level with Elon. And it was great. It saved them. It saved them. Because all their wires were ripped out. And I asked the people, I said, so what's better? The wires all over the place when they were working or Starlink? He said, honestly, Starlink is better. He said, Starlink is better. So we thank Elon because he helped a lot of people, probably saved a lot of lives. And we thank him for the endorsement, right? We thank him for the endorsement. And I also want to tell you, he made that black hat so we're selling. So what happened, I didn't even know we had it. It's selling like hotcakes. 10,000 hats were sold like in the last day and a half. But listen, more importantly, he calls it Dark MAGA. Dark MAGA. I said, that's the coolest name. That's the coolest name I've heard. And he likes it. He's wearing it all the time now. He's great. And one more, 11, the worst hurricane response since Katrina. And she's on a fundraising comedy tour while people are stranded and drowning all over some of our greatest states. So as the floodwaters rose in North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama, Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Kamala flew. By the way, do you think Biden could have done that? Do you think Kamala could have done it? No, Biden would have done better, I think. Biden would have done better. I think he's smarter than Kamala. You know, he's been reinvigorated. He's looking good compared to Kamala. No, he has been, right? Look, Mr. Wall, please stand up. Mr. Wall. You know, this guy's a wealthy guy. He does great, but he likes a lot of rallies, like 260-something rallies. And it's Uncle Sam, thank you very much, please. The great Uncle Sam. You know, I got to shake his hand. I have no idea who the hell he is. I got to shake his hand 2 weeks ago. He has the strongest handshake. I'm saying, man, that guy's strong. Thank you, Uncle Sam, you're great. Kamala flew to a fundraiser in San Francisco, a city she absolutely destroyed. She destroyed San Francisco. It was the best city in the country, and now it's not good at all. Well, families desperately tried to escape the rising floodwaters, and they climbed onto roofs. They did anything they can to live, but Kamala didn't send any helicopters to rescue them. And when people sent helicopters, they turned them back. And when, by the way, when Elon sent Starlink, originally they confiscated it, they took it. It took them a long time to get it over there, and it's a disgrace. And he doesn't want to say that, but I'll say it. It was disgraceful what they did. So she didn't send anything or anyone at all. Days passed, no help as men, women, and children drowned. North Carolina has 8 military bases, great bases. Fort Bragg, remember Fort Bragg? They changed the name. We won 2 wars. 2 world wars, actually, to be specific, from Fort Bragg. But they changed the name to, I'm not even going to say it. Let's just call it Fort Bragg. I think, what do you think? Has nothing to do with Pennsylvania, but the people of North Carolina would like to leave it as Fort Bragg. Can we do that? Yes? I think so. But they had rescue helicopters that could have easily be sent, and there was just no coordination. I'm not surprised because I've been dealing with them. There's nothing. But instead, Kamala recorded a podcast known for its graphic content. Can you believe it? She did nothing as people struggled and drowned, and day after day, no one came, and it's totally deficient. Fortunately, the private sector kicked in, and they're really helping and doing a good job, I will tell you. It took 6 days before Kamala and Joe sent a small number of troops to help. And despite all of this, Kamala Harris said she wouldn't do anything, she's not going to do anything differently. So if you had your chance, would you do something differently? No, I'd keep it just the same. Think of the things I read, and that's a small portion of the incompetence. What they've done to our country is unthinkable. This November, the people of Pennsylvania have to tell Kamala Harris, that we've had enough of you. You're an incompetent person. You're the worst vice president in the history of our country, acknowledged to be. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. So her answer that she would do nothing different is disqualifying. Kamala Harris is grossly incompetent, she cannot be trusted, and she is totally ill-equipped to do the job of President of the United States of America. She's ill-equipped. Frankly, Joe Biden is ill-equipped also, but at least he got 14 million votes, right? He's also ill-equipped, but what are you gonna do? And let me tell you, he may hate her more than he hates me. That's possible, right? What do you think? Dan, do you think so? I don't know. I think so. I believe, it's very interesting what's going on. You see the play now? They're fighting like cats and dogs, the two of them. I believe that he hates her perhaps more than he hates Trump. And I'm a little bit upset about that, actually. Our country just went through 4 years of incompetence, and we cannot handle 4 more years. We're not going to have 4 more years of it, nor will we have a woke military. We don't have a woke military. This is what we have. This is where we're going. Check it out.
You little scumbag! I got your name! I got your ass! You will not laugh! You will not cry! You will learn by the numbers!
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir! Let me see your war face! Sir, you got a war face? Ah! That's a war face! Now let me see your war face! Ah! Bullshit! You didn't convince me! Let me see your real war face! Ah! Praying for war. But until that day, you are puke. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
How to abracadabra, these bitches know I...
Quite a difference. It's quite a difference, isn't it? We just have to have a little fun in these rather troubled times, don't we, huh? But there's a lot of truth to that when you see it. We had tough stuff today. It's a little bit different. But I'll tell you what, I know the military well. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. It was supposed to take 4 or 5 years. We have a great military, and they're not woke. Some of the stupid people up top are woke, but you could throw those military people into a woke room, scream at them for 2 years, they'd come out, they want to fight, okay? They are great. We have a great military. I saw it because, you know, by the way, I'm the only president in 78 years that didn't start a war, but I finished wars. I finished wars. Remember when Crooked Hillary said, and she said, remember when Crooked Hillary said, look at him, he's going to start a war. I said, no, I'm going to stop wars. I'm going to stop them. And I did 78 years. But I wiped out ISIS in very quick time. They said it was going to take 4 or 5 years. I did it in 1 month because our military is great. Our military is great. Just yesterday, It was reported that Kamala Harris brought in a totally unvetted refugee from Afghanistan who has now been arrested for plotting an ISIS terror attack on the United States during our election. This is the people we brought in. We've got thousands of them. This is one. Kamala completely abandoned her duty to law-abiding Americans and spent the last 4 years importing criminals, unvetted refugees, and terrorists into our country. As we speak, she has, and this was just announced last week, 13,099, so over 13,000 illegal, alien, convicted murderers roaming free in our country, murderers that they're released from penitentiaries, prisons, and jails. You got 13,000 plus murderers in our country that were released from jails from all over the world. They come from the Congo. They come from all over the world, not just South America. They do come from South America, too. Do you know the crime rate, like in Venezuela, is way down because they've sent their criminals into the United States?
Yes.
In fact, I'll make you a deal. If we don't win, if this crazy, incompetent person gets in, next year, this same group is going to meet in Caracas, Venezuela, because it'll be much safer than your particular state. That's where we are. We're going to get these people out. We're going to deport them so rapidly. We're going to get the criminals, the murderers.
Eso es lo que se debe hacer. Considero que la inmigración ilegal es
And essentially, I will
condenada.
liberate Pennsylvania and our entire nation from this mass migrant invasion of murderers and child predators and gang members, terrorists, drug dealers, and thugs. What they have done to our country is unbelievable. You know, we get up and we talk, and I noticed something. Somebody was telling me the other day, we do a lot of these beautiful rallies, and it's so great. We never have an empty seat, never have. Look at it, 100,000 people in Butler, more. Never have an empty. But they said, you know, as you go on, you get angrier and angrier. It's true, because I read this stuff with all of these people being allowed in to destroy our country, and by the end of my speech, I'm actually a little bit angrier, in some cases a lot angrier, because they're destroying our country. We will not allow these people to invade us or to conquer us. Do you see what they're doing in Colorado? They're taking over apartment buildings. They're taking over real estate. They become real estate developers from Venezuela. They have where the hell did they get that equipment? And the governor of Colorado, who's a weak Democrat, radical left, he's beside himself. He said, oh, what do I do? What do I do? You get him the hell out of there. That's what you do.
Yes.
The Democrats brought him in. And you know what? Little cities and towns all over the country are being invaded, but the ones that aren't, they're just as scared because they know it's going to happen, because we have hundreds of thousands of these people, and there's so many of them are criminal. And you know what? If I were the head of, I want to name countries, but they're all friends of mine in one way or the other. I know most of them, almost all of them. But you know, if I were doing that, I would have done it even faster than them. In Venezuela, in many countries, they're emptying their prisons into our country. I would have had, because Venezuela has only gone about 50%. I would have had it down to 100%. Why wouldn't I? Do you know the money they save and the turmoil they save? When they take the criminal gangs from Caracas off the streets and they bust them into the United States and drop them. And do you think anything's going to happen that's going to be good with those people? No, it's not good. It's not good. This is not the American dream. I will save your communities. I will send home all of those who do not belong in our country, and I will keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country.
Él está hablando de cómo en su gobierno eso de la inmigración ilegal tiene que terminar. Él dice que
And also, Kamala is known as the taxing queen, the taxing queen. Her plan will raise taxes for typical American families by an estimated $3,000 a year. Take a look at this.
Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax bill.
Calling for a full repeal of President Trump's tax cuts.
If Kamala Harris was elected president, there are many different tax policies which could cripple the economy, but the first thing she wants to do is allow these Trump tax cuts to expire.
Even the New York Times admits that 85% of the middle class got a tax cut.
Americans will face a hike. The Tax Foundation finding that a couple with 2 kids making $165,000 a year would have to pay over $2,400 more in taxes.
And on day one, I will repeal that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to work to get rid of that tax cut. Joe and I are about to get rid of that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax cut.
Everything from a 70 to 80% tax rate.
I think that's fantastic. We've got to increase the corporate tax rate. Part of that is going to be about repealing that tax bill that they just passed. And also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. We will tax capital gains, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes.
Taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes even if you don't sell your home.
The value of your home never moves the way the
Ahora
stock
resulta
moves to say,
que
we're
en
going to
esto
tax what
dice
you
que es
don't have.
necesario
That's a sore
subirlo.
point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign.
Under my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. There has to be some connection between the fee and bad behaviors, and there has to be, in that we have to monitor whether it's going to be passed on to consumers. But I'm going to tell you that should never be the reason not to actually put a fee, and in particular, a carbon fee.
This is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now, she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Ahí está diciendo, estaba colocando un audio cuando Kamala Harris decía en el gobierno de Biden que iban a rebajar los impuestos, que no iban a colocar impuestos, pero hizo todo lo contrario. Esto lo hacen muchos gobernantes cuando están en campaña, pero cuando llegan al poder se les olvida lo que prometieron. Y entonces el señor Donald Trump está diciendo, tenemos una oferta, o sea, no es necesario subirle a los impuestos, hay otras formas en la economía que se puede actuar para que se pueda resolver la situación económica del país.
Thank you. So I gave you, as you know, the largest tax cut in the history of our country, and I gave you the largest regulation cut for your companies that hired so many people. We had the best employment numbers in the history of our country. Everybody was working, whether they went to the best schools and colleges and got doctorates and all of the different, or whether they couldn't graduate from high school, men, women, the black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community. Every single group, not one was left behind. And the best ones in terms of proportionately were low-income people. They did the best. And by the way, you have an invasion of people into our country, and not including gotaways, more than 21 million people. The gotaways, nobody has any idea how many there are. They are going to be attacking, and they already are, the black population jobs, the Hispanic population jobs, and they're attacking union jobs too. And they're all pouring in. So when you see the border, it's not just the crime, your jobs are being taken away too. And it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Kamala will deliver a 1929 style depression. I will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, and the greatest economy in the history of the world, which is what we gave you before.
Yes.
We will pass large tax cuts for workers, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. That's a big deal. Do we have any restaurant workers? Do we have any people that work in restaurants? No tax on tips. Remember they tried copying me? They gave it up. They gave it up. You know why? They got killed when they said it. Like a month later, she's going to, we're going to have no tax on tips. So they toyed with people with their education, right? With debt. And they said, oh, well, we're going to pay for your college education. We're going to pay. Never got it done. They won't get anything done. They can't get anything done. They never got it done. To bring jobs, factories, and wealth racing back to Pennsylvania, we will have a 15% made in America corporate tax rate, cutting the tax from 21 to 15, and I got it down to 21 from 39. But there is a but only for those who make their product in America, made in America. Right? One of the biggest guys, highly sophisticated guy, wealthy guy on Wall Street called me up. He said, who the hell gave you that idea? It's so simple, right? You're going to get that additional tax cut, but you have to have your product made in America. Isn't that great? They said, who gave you? That's like the paperclip. Somebody came up with the idea of a paperclip many years ago, and people saw it. They said, why didn't I think of that? But we're going to give a tax cut. You make your product here because that means jobs. It means a lot of things. It means a lot of great things. And we're going to stop Mexico and China and all these countries from hurting this country because they're hurting it. And they're killing the automobile industry. You're not going to have any cars manufactured here. If we win, this country will become the automobile manufacturing place. We will bring plants back at levels that haven't been seen for 50 years in this country. You know, right now the Chinese are building big factories, auto plants in Mexico. They think they're going to make cars and send them over to our border and put everybody in Detroit out of business, put everybody in South Carolina out of business. Not going to happen, because I'll put 100 or a 200% tariff. We don't want their cars. We want to make our cars here, and that includes in Pennsylvania. And for those who don't make their product in America, they will be forced to pay a rather stiff tariff for the privilege of competing with our cherished companies that we're going to take care of, and for the privilege of stealing our jobs, our treasure, and our wealth. They're going to do that. That's okay, but they're going to pay something for it, and it's going to be substantial. And we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. And let me tell you, for 30 years, for 25 years, China didn't pay 10 cents to this country. And when I was president, they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of billions. Not 10 cents. They literally never, you know, they went under the guise, we are a developing nation. Well, we're a developing nation too. We're like, our nation's gone like this, we got to get it back up, and we're going to get it back up fast. But American citizens will use all that money. We're going to pay off debt. We're going to reduce your interest rates. We are going to, by the way, two things. When I was president, the interest rate was 2%. Now it's 10%, but it's not really 10% because you can't get any money at 10%. The American dream for young people is gone. They can't buy a house. You can't get any money. So it's not 10%. It's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15%. It was 2%. 5 years ago, we had 2%, and now we have not 10, probably 14 or 15 before you get it, but that puts you out of business. Tariffs against us. Remember this, one thing is going to happen or another thing. Number one, they're going to drop all tariffs against us. You know, we have countries that charge us 150 and 200%, and we charge them nothing. And I started it, and it was good. We were making a fortune, and then these idiots came in and they changed it. But we're going back to it. It's a pro-American, it's America first policy, if you don't mind. America first. We have America first. And I believe my pro-American trade policies are one of the major reasons why I've been overwhelmingly endorsed by the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. Never happened. It never happened. 100% including 65% of Teamster members in the great Commonwealth. By the way, never call it a state. That's a very bad, that's career threatening. I had a politician who was a friend of mine. He walked in and he started talking about the state. I said, oh, he's dead. He was dead. You can't do that. David would never do that, right? No, you can't do that. You got to be very careful. The only thing worse is when Biden would get up, remember, and he'd talk about he's in Idaho, and he'd say, it's great to be in Iowa. They'd say, no, no. But the worst was when he was in New Hampshire, and he said, it's great to be in Florida. That's palm trees. And you know, you could be Winston Churchill. He was a great orator, a great, great orator, one of the greats. And if you make that mistake, no matter how good you are, the speech is a total disaster. Do you agree? But we don't make mistakes like that. We need every one of those Teamsters to get out and vote. Do we have any of the Teamsters here? Do we have them here? Oh, look at that. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. We appreciate it. The migrants are coming after your jobs, but I don't think you're going to be worried. I think you're going to be, they'll be okay. I know, they're tough cookies. They're going to be all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it, really. Because it's jobs, you know? They may be union, they may be not union. It's jobs. We want to protect our jobs. I don't care which jobs. We're going to protect our jobs. We're not going to let these countries come in and steal our product and steal our companies, and all we're left with is one thing, unemployment. It's not happening, not going to happen. And it's a very simple thing to do. It's essentially what they do. But see, we can do it better because we have now this country. But if this country keeps going along the way it's going, we're not going to have that advantage anymore. So we're leading in every key national battleground, just about, poll. We're just, as I was coming up here, Rasmussen, highly, highly respected, one of the most accurate. They have us up by 2 points nationally, but don't be fooled. If we're up by 2, it's about like 10. You know why? Because people can't poll Trump. That's what happened with crooked Hillary. They thought they were going to win because they say to the people they call up, who are you voting for? A Trumper, like these guys. They love Trump. Who are you voting for? I'm voting for crooked Hillary Clinton, or I'm voting for Lion Kamala Harris. I don't use the name Harris. You know, when you use the name Harris, nobody, like if I say, yeah, I'm up against Harris, they say, who the hell is Harris? No, nobody knows. You have to say Kamala. Look, all my political warriors over there. The insider advantage has just come out where we have nationally 3 points. We have in Pennsylvania a 3-point lead, which probably means 10. And a brand new Quinnipiac poll shows us leading in Michigan by 4 and in Wisconsin by 2. Oh, it's all good, but you got to get out. We cannot sit back. And we've made a lot of progress over the last, you know, she had that little honeymoon period before she started talking. Once she started talking, I didn't know, was it that I did a good job or that she is just so bad? You know what? Who cares? I say, who cares? Pennsylvania also needs to defeat your disastrous, radical Democrat Senator, Bob Casey. And we want to elect the next senator from Pennsylvania, David McCormick. He's right here. David McCormick.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I know him for a long time. He went to the best schools. He did that. He got great marks. I think that means something. You know, it does mean something. How did Biden do, by the way? How did Kamala do? Not too good. How did she do? Not too good, I will tell you right now. This guy was a great student. He was a great soldier. He was a great businessman. He's tough as hell. David, I know you just spoke. Just come here, say like for 2 seconds, because nobody wants to hear you right now. Just come up. But we got to get this guy in office. Come on, guys.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, it all comes down to the Keystone State, right here. Right here, Mr. President, we're going to put you back in the White House, right here in the Keystone State. We're going to win a majority in the Senate, right here in the Keystone State. and we're going to save America right here in the Keystone State. Thank you.
He's really good, and he will be such a great senator. He'll be phenomenal. And, you know, I know Casey. You know, I was in Washington for 4 years. I don't know if I ever even met Casey. But he's been there a long time. He's boring. Nobody knows who the hell he is. Think of it. And he doesn't fight for you. He just votes the way the Democrats tell him to vote. This guy will be a leader, and he'll bring business back to your Commonwealth. Ooh, that was a close one. He's going to bring business back to the Commonwealth like you won't believe. He's going to be a great senator for a long time to come. And thank you very much for being here, David. Great job. We're also joined as well by warriors, members of Congress who are great friends of mine. They've become great friends. You know, when you're in war, we're at like a war because we have an enemy on the outside, maybe China, maybe, you know, honestly, if you have a smart president, they're always going to be fine. They're always going to be fine because they always need something, and they're always going to be fine. I have great relationships with a lot of these countries that nobody else can talk to. But we're always, like as an example, Ukraine never, ever would have happened. Israel never, ever would have happened. The October 7th would have never happened. You would have never had inflation. You wouldn't have had that disaster in Afghanistan, the most embarrassing moment in the country's life. But I became friendly with these people, and they're warriors. You have great ones here. Some places don't have them as good, I must be honest with you. I refuse to say who. But here you have great ones. Dan Muser. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Great job. Thank you for all the help. He did so many things. He helped us on right to try. You know what right to try is? It's such an important thing. We saved so many lives. He helped us so much. Lloyd Smucker. Lloyd, thank you very much. Great job. Been my friend. John Joyce. John, thank you. You're fantastic people. And Kat Kamek from Florida. Kat, thank you. Oh, wow, that's good. That's very good. Thank you very much, Kat. And you heard Vivek. How about Vivek? Great guy. We're gonna bring him in. I don't want to tell him yet exactly we're gonna pick the right, because I don't like talking. First, I like to win. We got to win. Somebody said, oh, sir, who's going to be Secretary of State? I said, do me a favor. Let's win first, okay? Vivek knows that, but he's going to be a part of something that's going to be really big. Thank you, Vivek. Great job. Thank you. You know, he started off as a rookie, and he did very well. He did very well. He wiped out a lot of guys that have done this stuff for a long time, didn't he? Very well. It's great. Great to have you. Great family, too. In 4 incredible years under the Trump administration, we've achieved more than any administration in the history of our country, actually. We passed record tax cuts and record regulation cuts. We achieved all-time low unemployment rates, record low poverty rates. We had the lowest, think of it, we had the best, in terms of poverty, the best numbers you've ever had, and rising wages for everyone. Wages that rose at a level never seen before. We ended the NAFTA disaster, canceled the TPP, which would have taken all of your business out of Pennsylvania, withdrew from the ridiculous Paris Climate Accord. I want to call it the Pennsylvania Climate Accord, not the Paris Climate. No, they were ripping us off. We had to pay $1 trillion. Russia had to pay nothing. India had to pay nothing. China had to pay nothing. We had to pay $1 trillion. I said, so far, the deal's not looking too good. I tell you what, as a business guy, you know, I went in and I looked at some of these deals. I said, who the hell negotiated these deals? There's some hanky-panky going on, I think. Of course, Biden got a lot of money from China, you know. They never say that. The fake news never talks about it. If that were me, I'd be excoriated. Remember I said at the debate, I said, let me ask you, how come the mayor of Moscow's wife paid this man $3.5 million? And Chris Wallace said, well, please don't ask him that question. 2 weeks later, it became a hot subject, you know. Don't ask him the question. And nobody really did ask him the question, right? I won the big case in Florida. He had a similar type of case, but the difference is I have Presidential Records Act. Mine was 100% fine. I won it. I beat deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual. But Biden had a similar case, but he didn't have Presidential Records Act, right? And Biden was essentially convicted. Think of this. Here was the decision. He's incompetent, so he doesn't have to stand trial. So think of this. He's incompetent, so he doesn't have to stand trial, but he's allowed to be the President of the United States. Does that sound good? I don't think so. But I'll be honest with you. I honestly believe that he's more competent than Kamala. I believe that. I believe he's more competent. And I thought he looked really good today because we were comparing the two of them. And who looked better? He looked sharper than she did. Can you believe this? But I stood up to China like nobody has ever stood up before, bringing in billions and billions and billions of dollars. And remember, I said it before, nobody ever brought in 10 cents, not 10 cents. You check those records. We had the most secure border in U.S. history, fully rebuilt the United States military, and we created a new, beautiful, beautiful thing. I just love it, wrapped up, all perfect. It's called Space Force. Not since Air Force, 78 years before. Air Force, 78 years ago. We obliterated ISIS, and with the Abraham Accords, we made peace in the Middle East. We had the Abraham Accords. If Obama even thought about an idea like that, he would have gotten a Nobel Prize. With me, I say, don't waste your time. They're never giving it. They don't give me anything. All we do is produce. We produce. I just want to produce for you. I don't care about them. And I'm proud to be the first president in decades who started no new wars. That's very good. But those 4 incredible years of peace and prosperity, and that's what we have. I shake hands with people. Sir, it was so good when you were president, and I'm not doing well now, sir. I'm not doing well. They've been cut off with taxes and with regulations. It's horrible what they're doing. But they've been followed by 4 years of misery and failure under the worst president and vice president in American history. This is the worst president and vice president. This is the worst administration in the history of our country. The only one happy about it is Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter is considered, and his administration is considered brilliant by comparison. Would you say that's true, Vivek, David? Yes? Now, Jimmy Carter had a brilliant administration by comparison, so he's quite happy. He's a pretty old guy. He's just turning 100 or just about, right? He's 100 years old. He's a nice man, actually, so he's a very nice man. But here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie Sanders, and even worse than Pocahontas. Do you know Pocahontas? Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, remember? She said, I'm Indian. Everyone said, well, do you have any proof? No, my mother said that I had high cheekbones. That's what she said. That's what she said. So I came up with the name Pocahontas, and it drove her crazy, and so she went out and got a blood test, right? Remember what the number was? 1,024th. Oh, this guy's good. 1,024th. That means essentially that I have more Indian blood in me than she has, and I have none, unfortunately. I'd like to have some. I'd be honored to have some, but I have none. She thought it was so good that she had, 1,024th. It's like not even possible. It's not possible. And she was happy. She was so happy that she released the number. She thought it was good, and that was the end of her political career. She was leading in the presidential race back then. That was the Biden race. And you know where Kamala was? She had dropped out. She was dead last. She dropped out. She never made Iowa. And do I love Iowa? I love Iowa. I love corn. I love Iowa. Now, Iowa's great. We have a big lead in Iowa. Never lost in Iowa. We had a great, many years. What was it, 36 years? Nobody won Pennsylvania. And then Trump came along and we won Pennsylvania. And I'll tell you, there's more spirit now than I've ever seen. I'm talking about nationwide because we have another factor. You like me, and you know that I'm a very competent person, but you know how, thank you. I love you too. But thank you. But now you see how people can destroy our country. You know, the president has tremendous power. A president has tremendous power. And you can make or break a country. If you're stupid, if you don't know what you're doing, look at the whole world is laughing at us. 5 years ago, we were respected. Your president was respected, and our country was respected. And Viktor Orban, one of the toughest leaders in the world, the strong people, the press hates him. They say, he's a tough leader. Well, you know, sometimes you need a tough leader. But highly intelligent guy, very strong person from Hungary. He's the head of Hungary. And he made a statement. They said, why is it that the whole world is going crazy? The whole world. Remember me? I had no wars. I had no anything. We had no terrorists. We had no terror attacks. Everybody was happy. We had no terrorist attacks. But he said, why? They asked him, why is it? They said, because Trump's not president. If he becomes president, the whole world, because, and I don't use this word, I don't like the word for myself. I'm just saying the word he said. He said the whole world was afraid of him. China was afraid. Russia was afraid. Everybody was afraid. And I don't like that. I'd like to say respect. But I'm just saying what he said, so, because otherwise they'll say, oh, you know, these guys are so bad. A big part of our problem in this country are those people right back there. Big part of our problem. We need a free and fair press badly, desperately. I watched the way they asked questions of Kamala yesterday. Howard Stern, he's a weak guy. He's weak. He's going, oh, what about, oh. It was so ridiculous. Even she was embarrassed. It was like softball. But all of them. Howard, I knew him very well. I was on the show many times. I used to think he was good. Then I dropped him. And I dropped him like a dog. And his ratings are very challenged. Very challenged. But I watched the questions. I watched that stupid View where you have these really dumb people. You know, Whoopi Goldberg said, would you participate in a movie? She made some movie on basketball. This was before I ran for politics. She said, oh, you're so great. If you ever ran for president, you'd win. This is Whoopi Goldberg. You don't hear that? She said, I'm making a movie. Would you be in it? I said, in what capacity? Just a walk-on. You're so great. Would you do it? I did a walk-on for Whoopi Goldberg. Now she says, I refuse to mention his name. You know what? Politics can do strange things to demented people. Now, I've hired Whoopi to work for me as a comedian before this stuff, and a long time ago. And I went, and, you know, I'm not particularly shy about what I hear. Her mouth was so foul. Every word out of her mouth was like the F word, this. I was with a group of people, like sort of nice people, and we had to leave. She was so filthy dirty, disgusting. Half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again, but she was so dirty. Every word was filthy dirty, and I left. And then I see her sitting about, oh, Whoopi, oh, what a loser she is. But I watched the way they ask questions, and it's like, you know, they're on the same, like they're partners in this crime that's being committed. Kamala, again, she was last in the primary. She was the first one to drop out of like 22 people. And now I'm running against her. Now, I don't mind. I have a feeling that if they left Joe in, by the time it's finished, because she's dropping like a rock now, because she's actually forced to speak. Because she's behind, she's forced to go on and she's speaking. And because she's speaking, people are realizing she's a dumb person. And we can't have another dumb president. We've had enough. Can't have it. No, the country can't take it. I don't want to be nasty. Somebody said to me, one of my people, a nice person, staff person, said, sir, please, don't call her dumb. The women won't like it. The women want to see our country come back. They don't care. The women are tougher than the men, right? I said, don't worry. I said, don't worry about the women. They'll be okay. They're going to be okay. You know what? They don't want millions of people coming through our border. They don't want militaries pushing us around. They don't want crime in the middle of our streets. They don't want hundreds of thousands of migrant criminals. They don't want them walking down Madison Avenue in New York and Fifth Avenue and the shops being emptied. They want to see a country that works. And we're going to have a country that works very, very soon. And the women are going to like Trump. I think they like me anyway. I think it's all bullshit, you know? They make it up. Thank you. Kamala was an original creator of defund the police, okay? You know, she was one of the originals. Because she's a radical left person. Her father is a Marxist economist. I don't know what that means, a Marxist economist, they sort of, but a Marxist economist. I'd love to meet the father. Where's the father? I want to meet the father. I might like him. I mean, I like Barack Hussein Obama's brother very much. He endorsed me. And I like very much Tampon Tim's family. His family endorsed me. Tampon Tim. They endorsed me, the family of Tim. A terrible governor. The job he does is terrible. Anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week or 1 day is not worthy of being president of the United States, okay? Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. She wants mass amnesty for illegals, which will bankrupt Medicare and Social Security. Do you know these people coming in, I believe they do it for the votes. They really want to get them on the voting rolls. The amazing thing is a poll came out the other day with Hispanics. First time ever. Trump is leading. Look at her, beautiful. Trump is leading. Never happened. I mean, I think stupid Mitt Romney was at like 4% or something. How about him? How do you like having him as a partner? Mitt Romney, are we glad we're getting him the hell out of here? But she wants to ban fracking. Her whole life, she talked about, we will ban fracking, we will ban fossil fuels. And now all of a sudden, a little while ago, she said, that's not working too good. I love fracking very much. You know why? Because of your Commonwealth. She's now going around saying, I love fracking. Oh, I love... Let me tell you, if this ever happened, day one, there's no fracking. And that's the end of Pennsylvania, because it's the biggest factor in Pennsylvania. She imposed a natural gas export ban on Pennsylvania, which is killing you. It's currently in effect, by the way, just in case you don't know. She lost more than 325,000. I'm just giving you the same numbers that I gave you before with her answer. And the Attorney General, as Attorney General, she destroyed the state of California. As DA, she destroyed San Francisco, and now she wants to destroy the United States of America. When she was the Attorney General of California, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as non-violent crimes. She said under no circumstances will they be prosecuted. She called them non-violent crimes. They're pretty violent. Look, she's a liberal. She's very liberal. She's not even liberal. She's way... Remember I used to say, State of the Union, we will not be a socialist country. We will never, ever be a socialist country. And I was right. We're a communist country. They skipped socialism. No, I was right. They skipped socialism. They went to the next rung, communism. So I was right. We will never be a socialist country. Boom, they skipped it. So I was right. I like to be right. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. So I have the total endorsement of the NRA. You know, how many people in here own a gun? All of my congressmen are they're not sure what they, look at that. Dan, you know what to do. All of my congressmen, they're a little bit shy about that. But you know, she will confiscate your guns. She's going to take your guns away, just so you know. She sponsored a bill to impose a 100% ban on gas-powered automobiles. Congratulations. I'm sure you'll sell your automobile for a lot. That will be ended on day one, okay? Day one. Boom. I will sign that on day one. I'm going to sign a lot of things. My hand will be very sore from signing. I'll walk out, I'll say, man, that's a lot of signing, and I've signed a lot of things. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. No, we're talking about major radical left stuff here. This is top of the line. It's true, far left of Bernie Sanders. In fact, even Bernie Sanders said, you know what he said the other day? It's about time I put my foot down. We can't do this. He's complaining. Now Bernie is saying, well, I've got to put my foot down. This is too much. She is the worst, and perhaps most revealing of all, and it's the simplest of all. All for the last 3 years, I heard how she slaved over the French fry oven at McDonald's. I worked so hard. It was so hot, the heat. I'd get burns. Oh, look, it was a burn. I got a burn. I still have a scar. It was horrible. Only one problem. She never worked at McDonald's. It was a lie. You know, in one way, I hate that. It's sort of too simple. You know, the fake news will say, oh, it's such a simple... But they refused to report it. They reported that she worked there, but when it turned out to be a fake, they didn't want to talk about it because they're fake. Hence the term fake news. They're fake. No, they'll get back because they've almost lost all credibility now. You can hardly read the papers. You know, you only know a lot of people, like your accountants, your taxi drivers, you're a lot of different things, but you don't know, like when these guys deal, and they go up and they give them a story, and they know exactly what the story is, and they give them the correct stuff, and then they write it the exact opposite. A lot of people don't know that. They are truly corrupt people. They are corrupt, and they are the enemy of the people. They are the enemy of the people. And we know better than the others because we give them, right, John? We give them the information, and then they write it the opposite, and it's really disgusting. But here we are, we're leading for the presidency, so I don't know what the hell power they have. And yesterday, Tampon Tim said that they want to abolish the Electoral College, take away all electoral power from the voters of Pennsylvania. They want to add, in many cases, they're talking about many, they're thinking about, first time I heard this number, 25, they want to have 25 Supreme Court justices because it's the only way they're going to gain the power, they think. No, they have to wait their turn, you know, it could come back. But you know what? They want to have, it's the first time I've ever heard the number. It's got to be uneven, you know that, right? Got to be. So I figured they'd stop at maybe 11, maybe 13. No, that's an unlucky number. So 15 maybe. Yesterday, first time I heard 25, they want 25. Tampon Tim and Kamala Harris are a true threat to democracy. I'm not the threat to democracy. By the way, if I was, I wouldn't have taken a bullet to the ear. You know, I wouldn't have taken a bullet to the ear. They didn't. But with your vote this November, we are going to defeat these radical left country destroyers, and we are going to finish what we so brilliantly started. We had the greatest economy in history. On day one, I will seal the border, stop the migrant invasion, and we will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. We have no choice. The illegal migrants come, and we will make America affordable again. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the energy costs way down. I will fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no increases of age. How would you like to be? It's going to happen with them. Some nice guy worked hard. He's getting ready to reach that certain age, and they announced, so you're going to have to wait an extra 6 years. No, it's not going to happen. Not with me. And it didn't happen. Remember that. It didn't happen. It won't happen, Uncle Sam, I promise you. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. And I will cut your energy prices in half. 50% within 12 months of taking office. Get it down, 50%. We'll do it because we have so much. We don't even use our energy. We will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate so you're allowed to drive to Washington without 4 stops, okay? I'd prefer not stopping 4 times. I will stop outsourcing and turn the U.S. into a manufacturing superpower, especially with the car industry. They are going to love me in Michigan, and maybe that's why I'm leading in Michigan. I'm leading by a lot in Michigan. I think the car workers, I think the auto workers are going to love me maybe more than anybody else, because if I don't win, there will be no auto workers within 3 years. We won't make any cars. Working with Elon Musk, we will slash a record amount of government waste and fraud and abuse. And he's very good at that. And I will end the war with Ukraine while I'm president-elect. I won't even wait to get into office. I'll end it. Stop the chaos in the Middle East and prevent World War III, which is going to happen. World War III. We're closer to World War III than we have ever been. We've never been this close, and this will be a war like no other because it's nuclear power. And this is not 2 army tanks, as I say, going back and forth and shooting at each other, Uncle Sam, right? This is levels of power and carnage, and it's obliteration time, and we can't let that happen, and we won't have it. We will not have World War III. These people don't even talk. I saw where Biden hasn't spoken to Putin in, like years or something. You got to end that war. That war is ridiculous. We got to end that war, and I'll end it fast. I know both of them. I know Zelensky. I know Putin will get it ended. I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I totally rebuilt our military, and we gave $85 billion worth of it to the Taliban. Did you see that? There's another thing. We were going to get out with dignity and strength, but you got to take out the military last. He took out the military first. Not smart. A 5-year-old. Remember, I had the 5-year-old on stage. I gave him the stats. Would you do it first or last? Sure, I take out the military last. Thank you. Go back to your mom. Thank you. But Biden took it out first with Kamala's blessing. And we will build a missile defense shield, all made in the USA, and a lot of it made in Pennsylvania. We're entitled to it. It's our technology. Why aren't we doing it? All made right here. Jobs, jobs, jobs. We will lead the world in space and reach Mars before the end of my term. We're going to reach. I said to Elon, is that doable? Absolutely. He loves rockets, that guy, man. Never seen a guy that likes rockets so much. First time I got a glimpse, I said, who did that? Remember when the rocket engines came down? They have no wings, no nothing. I said, what the hell is that? I'm looking. It wasn't a missile. It was just a round tube. And it came down. It landed right on a barge, a circle, 4 of them or 3 of them. Came right down, landed right on a circle from space. I said, who the hell did that? It was Elon Musk. I called him. I said, that we were able to do it. And it's so incredible. They can use them again and again and again. How smart. How smart. And he said, we can do that. We'll be in Mars before the end of our term. And a lot of it also, though, does have to do with the military, because we don't want to just send rockets up. I mean, the military, it's going to be a very important factor. Space Force is turning out to be a very big deal, because a lot of the military is going to be surveillance and everything will be having to do with space. And we're now, you know, we were being obliterated when I took office by China and by Russia in space. We are now leading by a lot. I put a guy in there who's done a phenomenal job, but Space Force has been a fantastic thing and a very important thing. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., which is so embarrassing. It's got graffiti all over the marble. It's got potholes all over the road. We're going to fix our capital and make it beautiful, and we're going to be proud of it again. And our cities will be clean and safe and beautiful. We're not going to have crime. We're going to stop the crime. We're going to let the police do their job. I will support universal school choice, which is a big deal for people. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend the Second Amendment as I have done for 4 years, and it wasn't easy. Protect religious liberty, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections like they have never been secured before. We want voter ID. Did you see in California, Gavin Newsom? Listen to this. He passed a bill, he signed a bill that nobody is even allowed to ask anybody for voter ID. If they ask, it's a criminal act or something. So there will be no voter ID. Now, there's only one reason they want that, to cheat. But think of this, he took it a step further, Gavin Newsom. He has destroyed California. And you know, for me, it's hard to say these things because I have property in California. I have a lot of property in California, and I hurt myself. But what I'm doing now is much more important than my properties. It's really much more important. Every time I say that, what a rotten job he's doing, I say, well, that's going to cost me a lot of money every time, but it doesn't matter to me. If it did, I wouldn't be doing this right now, right? I wouldn't be doing. But under our administration, and by the way, how good did J.D. Vance do the other night? Good people, good people. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris. Should be easy, should be very easy. And stop her radical left agenda once and for all. You have to get out and vote. We're going to make this a landslide. We want to make it a real referendum. We want to make it something where you go and you say, we have the right to stop crime in our cities. We want to make it big. And we want to make it so that they can't cheat, you know. And if you win by a lot, they can't cheat. They can only cheat so much. And they are cheating dogs, I will tell you that. Early voting in Pennsylvania is underway. What the hell are you doing sitting here? Go. So get everyone you know. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Look at that. He's the greatest. I love Uncle Sam. Look at him. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Thank you. He's the greatest, that guy. I don't know who the hell he is. He goes to a lot of rallies. Mr. Wald, you know? I don't know, but he's great, actually. So get everyone you know and go vote. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. I believe that. I also believe that if we don't do this, I don't think it'll ever happen. I think our country's going to be destroyed. They're destroying our country. You will have 200 million people come in from all over the world, including prisons and mental institutions. With your help from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. We love this nation. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. You know who's going to do that? RFK Jr. He's got some good ideas. We love RFK Jr., don't we, Vivek? Between the two of these guys, we will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless you, Pennsylvania. Get out and vote. Thank you. Thank you, fellas.
Bueno, esa era la intervención del señor Donald Trump, el presidente Donald Trump. Él habló de varios puntos. Él mencionó que quiere modernizar lo que es el ejército, apoyar la policía, reducir lo que es el impuesto, ayudar a que crezca la industria automotriz, la fábrica, toda esta empresa a nivel general, y además de ello dice que es importante trabajar en los aspectos como reducción, a mejorar lo de la guerra, o sea que en las manos de él está en que no haya más guerra, porque pues él ha mencionado en muchas ocasiones que solamente trae destrucción y muerte de personas inocentes, que quiere cerrar fronteras y quiere regular la inmigración ilegal. Entonces todos estos aspectos que él mencionó, él quiere que todos los conozcan, porque él quiere llevar a Estados Unidos nuevamente a ser grande como él lo ha mencionado en muchas ocasiones, y no solamente eso, sino que a volver a ser rico, porque sabemos que tanto Estados Unidos está pasando una situación difícil en el gobierno de Joe Biden y en que acompaña a Kamala Harris. Entonces él dice que quiere llevar a Estados Unidos a lo grande. Entonces este era todo lo que tenía para ustedes. Esta era la transmisión en vivo. Gracias por acompañarme, gracias por estar aquí conectados. Nos vemos en una próxima ocasión. No olviden suscribirse a este canal, no olviden darle me gusta y compartir, y nos vemos en una próxima ocasión. Chao, chao.